All right, we are live. So I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. on June 13th, 2023. First order of business, the agenda. Have you all had a chance to look at that?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Yes.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Moved by Kristen, seconded by Herman Starker. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. All those opposed, same sign. All right. Motion passes. Moving on. Board election results. So these were announced at the Detour staff meeting. However, the results are I've been elected as president. Allie has won re-election from their term. And then Lorian Paulson was elected for the member at large position. And with my change in title from member at large to president, we do now have a open member at large position. So if anyone's interested in going for that position, feel free to contact us because that will be filled by a special. Moving on, recap of off-cycle board actions. We did approve food purchases for teams visiting other conventions, basically our road crew and master team. We already pay for, their travel, their housing, but we never actually authorized any sort of per diem for food or stuff. So we did authorize a reasonable expenditure for that. We did not fix a dollar amount to it, but we did basically, if we're sending people to act on our behalf, we figure we can trust them to make smart choices. And if that becomes an issue down the road, we can readdress it then. Next up would be the open session. There's nothing I'm seeing in chat at this time. So if anyone says anything, we will go back and address that as needed. So moving on now to plan discussion for visiting parties, which there are none. So we'll move directly into coordinator updates. So Troy, fill us in.
Ooh. Let's see. We have visited Des Moines Con with the ambassador team. Otherwise, we just had our first staff meeting of the cycle. We're just kind of getting back into things, preparing for that. Vice chairs have been conducting some of their one-to-ones with their teams, and we'll be continuing to do that. Finishing out this budget cycle with departments and preparing for the new budget cycle. That's kind of at the beginning of things here and sort of closing out the last cycle, preparing for this cycle and kind of new initiatives, new changes, improvements that we need to make from the last cycle. So everything's kind of right here at the beginning. So just getting started. So unless there's any questions, we'll be looking to do a tour of the Hilton as some due diligence, as they've sent us a proposal, a tour of the convention center for sort of future purposes. Outside of that, I think that's pretty much it for what we're doing this month.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for Troy?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, perfect. No other coordinators here. So this is where we've come to the scheduled break, seeing as how I don't think that's necessary. I'm just going to move to skip that by unanimous consent. So are there any objections?
No.
All right, in that case, I'm moving on. Let's see. So we are on to current month board topics. So I would like to propose a bylaw change. As you know, we discussed for quite some time that the treasurer position, was kind of ready to step down. We kind of need to figure something out. We were like, can we hire a company? Can we not hire a company? What I'm proposing is an amendment change where we make the treasurer a appointed coordinator position, similar to how Troy's coordinator for Detour, we just make a financial coordinator. And then we make it a non-voting coordinator position. So our executives flexibility to either hire a volunteer or appoint a volunteer, or say hire a firm. traditional accounting firm to handle that stuff. It would be a non-voting position because I think that's just more appropriate for, the treasurer, especially if we're hiring a company to do it. He doesn't want, more. And then what I would propose we do is formalize a vice president position on the board, basically to place the president's elected 1 year, treasurer's elected the other. Instead of treasurer election, we just have a VP election. I think that'd be good because, well, what just happened to me this weekend, if something were to happen to me, we at least have a default fallback person. Just, redundancy in a fallback position is not exactly bad to have. So I'd like to hear all your thoughts on that.
I think that's pretty good sounding proposal. Treasurer is a position that requires a certain skill set over just kind of being able to learn on the job and, for lack of better terminology, market yourself to the rest of the membership as someone who can learn on the job and bring to them the skills you need as a board member. There's a lot of additional effort that's needed to be a treasurer, and just having someone run for that position who may or may not have those skills, or have someone who runs who has the skills but can't market themselves sufficiently to the membership to get elected as a counterpoint, those seem less than ideal. So having the ability to interview to determine someone's actual skill set for the role and be able to make an appointment based on actual ability seems like a good idea.
I agree with Allie. As someone who has served before on a board of directors as a treasurer with little to no financial experience because no one wanted to do it, that is not an ideal situation. We should be doing everything that we can to set ourselves up for success, and I feel like these changes make sense and would definitely benefit Detour as a whole. My question would be, if we create this VP role, just discussing what are the requirements? Do they need to be someone located with a certain mile radius of Minneapolis? Those type of things we should talk about as well. Because I know, for myself, I would be more than happy to do something like that. However, I live in Wisconsin, so I'm not the best candidate. So we need to figure out what those boundaries are. Because no matter what, I feel like my distance in a situation, I would never run for something like that just because of distance.
Very valid point. So I know I did message Kim about this proposal before I brought it up. Obviously, she's done it for a long time, wanted her thoughts on it. She'd be completely in support of this as well, so that's certainly a good thing. And just tonight, this is a preliminary discussion. Obviously, do not have any sort of proposed or actual written out proposed amendment tonight. I just wanted to get thoughts on the matter before we were to start drafting something up. So, is there any further discussion about that? Yes, Troy.
I just wanted to throw in that, yeah, I think these are really excellent ideas, and they're things that have been talked about on various iterations of the board for a couple of years now. So it's certainly not, sort of a surprise. I think they're things that help deal with situations that we've seen coming for a couple of years and set us up for, future successes and help kind of put to bed some kind of long-term problems. So I think it's in the organization's best interest as well.
Perfect. All right. Is there anything else about the proposed amendment?
Really, I just think we should probably have an off-cycle meeting just to really hammer out the details. But otherwise, I think a VP position is something that we're just kind of long overdue for.
Yeah, we could definitely have a off-cycle just brainstorm meeting to basically come together and craft an amendment. I don't think it needs to be anything formalized, because obviously we just need to draft the amendment so we can actually vote to ratify it and put it for membership, which obviously I'm happy to do. anything else about this? Otherwise, there is one thing I forgot I need to go back to. All right, seeing none. Forgot to announce, when we were live here, we do have a PO box now. I was able to get us one of those. So our new mailing address is PO Box 22087, Eagan, Minnesota 55122. So we will have that for the next 13 months. The cost was $388. There's a small price to pay since we can actually receive mail again. Kind of an important deal. So. Just check the agenda again here. All right, that's all I have on the agenda. Does anyone have anything they'd like to bring up for? Oh, Troy, thank you for bringing that up. That's one thing I did forget. So coming from the detour level, they would like to up their prices for the child badges from $15 to $20. However, that $15 price point is locked in by board policy. So to change that, we would need to, basically vote to allow it. I would personally support or propose that we just let the detour coordinator decide what the badges should be priced at
Okay.
At their discretion. But I'll open that up for discussion.
Yeah, there was a few
Yeah.
different things that we were looking at, but if that I won't get into the particulars if that's, unless you guys have questions, because if you're going to shift that badge pricing thing to the coordinator, then that would help.
Yeah,
I
think
honestly think having the coordinator in charge of their own pricing makes sense because they know far better than we do the ongoing trend, and it just seems redundant for us to vote on it.
I agree. So what I would propose for a motion then is that we rescind the current board policy, fixing the child badge price, and make a policy whereas the current coordinator is able to set the badge prices as they see fit. I'll go ahead and motion that. So is there a second?
I will second.
All right, moved and seconded by both Buttons and John. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right. All those opposed? Okay. Seeing none, then motion. Sorry, what, John?
I didn't say anything.
Okay. In that
Oh,
case, the
he just
motion
picked up
does
background
carry.
noise.
Yeah, so the motion does carry. So, Troy, you're approved to go ahead and change that price as you deem appropriate.
Thank you.
And then, is there anything else for open or current board topics at this point?
I just remembered this because I was looking through the emails. Kristen had forwarded the Como Park Oban Festival because I believe we did participate last year.
That reminds me, I did attend the Cherry Blossom Festival this year. I was there for just a few hours to help us set up. It was very nice, very well put together. We went both last year and this year. So, yes, Allie.
So I meant to respond to that email and I totally spaced out on it. Sorry. So I was at the Oban Festival last year and it was a great time. Highly recommend that we do that again. But the big thing we really ended up doing there was doing a lot of detour registrations. So I was going to propose maybe we either turn that over to Ambassador or do it as a joint ATC detour event, because we really did do gangbusters on registrations for detour there.
Yeah. So when I had initially forwarded it, I had forwarded it to Buttons because they're handling ambassadors. And then Buttons said, now we should kick it to the board first. So that was how that happened.
Yeah.
So
because as far as I remember from last year, it was a board thing.
It was a board thing last year, but it ended up being we were digging out like every registration form we could find on hand and getting people registered because they were super interested in detour above everything else, which ATC doesn't have a whole lot else to offer at the moment, let's be honest.
Troy, I'll get to you in just a second. My personal thoughts on it are anything that's a board activity can very also easily be a detour activity since detour is part of ATC. I would have no issues with us doing registrations there. Obviously, with the new online ticketing system, it's very easy for us to do. We can generate QR codes, everything super quick and easy, and it's no more paper processing. Troy, go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of what Matt said, and I think while it's certainly unfortunate that there were times where there was a real strong sort of division between organization and event. Those days do not exist. That, I mean, we have a parent organization, and we are currently the largest fundraising event within that organization. So it would, of course, make sense that at any ATC event that, Detour is going to be, a potential topic. I would hope it would be of conversation, and that there would be some availability for registration. And like Matt said, that's all the more easier now with EventMe. But I don't think we ever want to lose, especially locally, the tie back or the callback to, that it's an ATC event, presented by. So I think that it's very easy for us to have it co-presented. It doesn't have to rely at a board level exclusively, or at an ambassador team exclusively, that sort of thing. And given the fact also that so many are at both sides, whether they're on the where so many people exist at both a board level and also as event staff. So I think that those lines can don't have to be quite so defined anymore.
What I will say, without getting into too much event-any details, is it is primarily app driven for sales with stuff like that, or done through like an iPad or like a mobile phone. So when it does come time and we're prepping for stuff like that, I can very easily tell people, okay, download this, get them logged in so that we can make those sales. We'll have to make a general like AD register account so that people can log in on that one to make those sales. So easy peasy, super easy.
Doing it ASIN is I generated a roadshow ticket, and then we just had we generated a QR code that we could have people scan to come right to the register. They did it. Went through great. So
it's super easy. It's super easy. Like everyone, we can literally basically have it pre-set up so that people can just like do it from their own cell phone. We don't even have to do anything. So
I will also say, like, just as the one who heads ambassador, I think keeping some of these, like the Oban Festival, more at a board level rather than me handling, it does open it up for more people, as I am incredibly picky about who I pick for ambassadors. I think this gives people an opportunity to take part where they do not get to on our ambassador trips.
And it's local.
Is there anything else? I have been monitoring chat. There's really no questions in there. I just remind people to email to get attendance for the meeting here. Yeah, is there any last minute business before we adjourn?
I don't have anything.
All right. In that case, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Yeah, all right. I'll move Chris in seconds. That works. All those in favor of adjournment, stay on you.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All those opposed? All right. It's opinion of the chair that the motion passes, and we are adjourned at 6:49 p.m. And I will see you all at the next meeting. I do not have the date on hand, but it will be second Tuesday. Second Tuesday. I think that's July 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
It is the 11th.
Yes, it is
It's
the
also
11th.
my birthday, and I have to spend it here with all you.
Haha.
Oh, happy birthday.
So, see you all next month.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Gonna bring the stream down. All right, and the stream is down. And John,